My parents said, "You'll die renting forever unlike your sister," while taking my $2,800 monthly payments. So I moved out overnight, handed them foreclosure papers, and explained I'd been paying their mortgage the whole time. Hey beautiful souls. Take a second to subscribe, drop a friendly hi in the comments, and tell us where you're watching from. Now let's continue the story. You'll die renting forever, just like we always said. My mother's words sliced through the Sunday dinner table like a knife through warm butter. I looked up from my plate, fork frozen midair, as she gestured toward my sister Jade with her wine glass. Unlike Jade here, who actually invested in her future. My father nodded, cutting into his steak. That's what happens when you make smart choices instead of throwing money away every month. I'd been living with them for 3 years, paying $2,800 monthly for what they called rent and contribution to household expenses. $2,800 that disappeared into their accounts like water into sand. They'd convinced me it was temporary just until I saved enough for a down payment. But every time I mentioned moving out, Dad would launch into lectures about market timing and Mom would suddenly need help with some expensive repair. "I'm trying my best," I said quietly, pushing green beans around my plate. Jade smirked from across the table, her designer nails clicking against her champagne flute. "Some people just don't have the financial discipline, Daddy. Remember when you and Mom co-signed my condo? Best investment you ever made in your children." Something twisted in my stomach. Co-signed? They told me they couldn't help with my down payment because of cash flow issues. That was 2 years ago. How much did that co-sign cost? I asked, keeping my voice steady. "Nothing," Mom said quickly. Too quickly. "Just our signatures and good credit." But her eyes shifted away from mine and I saw it clearly for the first time, the lie settling into the corners of her mouth like dust. That night I couldn't sleep. Jade's condo. Their sudden reluctance to help me. The way they'd become increasingly comfortable accepting my money while criticizing my life choices. I sat up in bed, laptop glowing in the darkness, and started searching. It took 20 minutes to find Jade's property records online. The condo she'd supposedly bought 2 years ago? Purchased 4 years ago before I'd even moved back home. Purchased outright, no co-signers listed. Cash sale. My hands shook as I clicked through document after document. If they'd lied about Jade's place, what else weren't they telling me? I thought back to that Christmas 3 years ago when they'd asked me to move home. "Just temporarily, baby," Mom had said, clutching my hands. "Your father and I are struggling a bit. We could use the help and you could save money by not paying that ridiculous apartment rent." I'd been paying $1,200 for a studio across town. Small but mine. They'd convinced me that $2,800 to them was an investment in family and future stability. More than double what I'd been paying, but they were family. They needed me. Or so they'd said. I pulled up my bank statements, calculating quickly. 3 years. 12 months. $2,800 per month. My breath caught. $100,800. Over $100,000 I'd given them, and I still had nothing to show for it except a room in their house and constant criticism. "You're being paranoid," I whispered to myself. But my fingers were already typing their address into the property database. The page loaded slowly, each second stretching like taffy. Then I saw it. My parents' house, purchased 18 years ago for $180,000, currently valued at $425,000. Outstanding mortgage balance, $47,000. My heart stopped. $47,000. 3 years ago when I moved in, the balance would have been roughly. I did the math 3 times, certain I was wrong. But the numbers didn't lie. The outstanding balance 3 years ago would have been approximately $85,000. I'd paid them $100,800. Their remaining mortgage was $47,000. No, I breathed into the darkness. No. I pulled up a mortgage calculator with trembling fingers. Their monthly payment on this loan would be approximately $1,100, maybe $1,200 with taxes and insurance. I'd been paying them $2,800. For 3 years. They'd been collecting my money, far more than their actual mortgage payment, while watching their loan principal shrink with my contributions. all while telling me I was wasting money, that I had no financial discipline, that I'd die renting forever. I grabbed my phone and called my best friend Megan, not caring that it was 2 a.m. Girl, what? They've been stealing from me, I choked out. Megan, they've been using my money to pay off their mortgage while telling me I'm too irresponsible to own property. The silence on the other end stretched for 5 heartbeats. Get out, Megan said flatly. Get out of that house tomorrow. No, tonight. I'm coming to get you right now. I need to think. I need to. Leanne, listen to me. Her voice cut through my spiral. You need evidence. Screenshot everything. Print everything. Then we plan. I didn't sleep. By dawn I had 3 years of bank statements printed and highlighted. Every $2,800 payment marked in yellow. Every text message where they'd reminded me the payment was due. Every email where I'd asked about helping me buy my own place and they'd deflected. The bathroom light clicked on down the hall. Dad's morning routine starting. Soon Mom would be up, then the whole performance would begin again. Breakfast together, small talk, them reminding me to pay this month's rent before I left for work. My phone buzzed. Megan. I called my cousin Tristan. He's a real estate attorney. Meeting at his office 7 a.m. before your shift. Get that paperwork and get out. I moved mechanically through the morning, playing the role I'd perfected over 3 years. Grateful daughter. Responsible tenant. Financial disaster in training. Morning, sweetheart, Mom said, pouring coffee. Don't forget rent's due Friday. I know, Mom. She smiled, patting my shoulder. We're only hard on you because we love you. Someone has to teach you financial responsibility. I thought about the $47,000 mortgage balance. About the $2,800 they demanded monthly for a payment that probably cost them $1,200. About Jade's phantom co-signing story. Yeah, I said, butter melting on my toast. Someone has to. At Tristan's office, I spread the documents across his conference table. He studied them in silence, his expression darkening with each page. This is financial exploitation, he said finally. Potentially even fraud, depending on what they told you these payments were for. They said rent and household contribution. For a room in their house. $2,800. He shook his head. Leanne, fair market rent for a room in that neighborhood is maybe $800 to $900. They've been overcharging you by $2,000 monthly. Tristan pulled up their property records on his computer, his jaw tightening as he scrolled through the documents. Your parents refinanced this mortgage 4 years ago. The payment, including property taxes and insurance, is $1,247 per month. You've been paying more than double what they actually owe. Can I get my money back? My voice sounded small, childlike. Civil court maybe. But that's expensive and slow, and family cases are complicated. Here's what I'm more concerned about. He pulled up another document. Your parents filed for a home equity line of credit 8 months ago. They were denied. The reason? Their debt-to-income ratio was too high. I frowned. But they told me they're doing fine financially. They've been using your payments to cover their mortgage, yes, but they've also accumulated significant credit card debt. According to the credit check the bank ran, they're carrying about $65,000 in credit card balances across 8 cards. The room tilted. 65,000? Your money has been enabling their lifestyle. They're underwater, Leanne. Without your payments, they'd have been facing serious financial trouble 2 years ago. Megan grabbed my hand. So if she stops paying, the house of cards collapses, Tristan finished. They're 2 months from foreclosure without her subsidy. They need her more than she needs them. I thought about every dinner where they'd praised Jade's financial wisdom. Every time they'd called me irresponsible. Every $2,800 payment I'd made, believing I was investing in their love and my future. I want to leave, I said. Today. What's the cleanest way to walk away? Tristan leaned back. You've been paying without a formal lease agreement, correct? Just text messages and Venmo transactions. Then legally you're a month-to-month tenant. You can leave with 30 days notice, but given what they've been doing, I'm not giving them 30 more days of my money. Tristan made a phone call. Then another. By noon, I had a consultation with a family law attorney named Patricia who'd dealt with financial exploitation cases before. By 3 p.m. I had a plan that made my hands shake and my heart race. They've built their stability on your exploitation, Patricia explained, her voice gentle but firm. You have every right to remove yourself from this situation immediately. The question is whether you want to exit quietly or send a message. I thought about Jade's smirk. Mom's casual cruelty. Dad's lectures about my poor choices. I want them to understand what they've done, I said. Patricia nodded. Then here's what we'll do. Tonight you pack essentials only. Tomorrow you withdraw your next payment before it transfers. Freeze that autopay immediately. You've already given notice at your job that you're taking personal days. 3 days starting tomorrow. Good. You'll need moving help. Get your things out while they're at work. Don't tell them where you're going. Then, she slid a folder across her desk. We file a formal demand letter for repayment of excess rent. We document everything. And we let them know that if they contact you with anything other than payment arrangements, we'll pursue civil litigation for fraud. That won't work, I said slowly. They'll just call me ungrateful. They'll make themselves the victims. Patricia's smile was sharp. Which is why you're also going to give them something else. A gift that shows them exactly what they've been doing to you. She explained the rest. It was brutal. It was perfect. It was exactly what they deserved. That night I started packing. Not everything, they couldn't know I was leaving. Just the essentials. Documents, jewelry, photos, clothes I'd bought before moving home. My whole life fitting into 4 boxes and 2 suitcases hidden in my closet. Wednesday morning arrived with rain. I sat at breakfast playing my role one final time, while Mom complained about the weather and Dad scrolled through his phone. Don't forget rent's due Friday, Mom said absently. Actually, I said, my voice steady, I wanted to talk about that. They both looked up, instantly wary. My job is doing some restructuring. I might need to delay this month's payment by a week or 2. The temperature in the room dropped 20 degrees. Leanne. Dad's voice had that edge I'd heard 1,000 times. We've been more than generous letting you stay here for such a reasonable rate. The least you can do is pay on time. Reasonable, I repeated softly. Mom reached over, patting my hand with false sympathy. Honey, this is exactly what we've been trying to teach you. Financial responsibility means meeting your obligations even when it's hard. Maybe you need to pick up some overtime? I looked at her hand on mine. 3-carat diamond ring. Fresh manicure. Cartier watch. Maybe, I said. They relaxed, crisis averted in their minds. I finished my coffee, grabbed my purse and walked out of that house for the second to last time. At the bank I closed my transfer authorization. $94 sat in their account. The last payment they'd ever receive from me. In my account, $12,000 in savings I'd somehow managed to accumulate despite hemorrhaging money to them monthly. Megan met me at a storage facility with her boyfriend's truck. Tristan sent 2 law students who'd volunteered their afternoon. By 2 p.m., while my parents sat in their respective offices, my entire life was out of their house. I left 3 things behind. My key on the kitchen counter, a folder of documents on Dad's desk, and a letter. Dear Mom and Dad. By the time you read this, I'll be gone. Please don't try to find me. This isn't a rash decision. It's the result of 3 years of manipulation that I've finally found the courage to end. I know about the mortgage. I know the actual payment is $1,247 per month. I know I've paid you $100,800 over 3 years while you charged me $2,800 for a room worth maybe $800 in fair market rent. I've included copies of your property records, my bank statements, and a calculation showing that my rent payments have covered your entire mortgage for 3 years, plus given you an extra $1,500 monthly that you used to maintain a lifestyle you couldn't afford. I know you're 2 months away from serious financial trouble without my money. I know about the credit card debt and the denied HELOC application. I know everything you worked so hard to hide while calling me financially irresponsible. You told me I'd die renting forever, while taking money that could have been my down payment. You praised Jade's discipline while using my exploitation to fund your retirement dreams. You made me feel small, stupid, and hopeless while building your security on my back. The folder on Dad's desk contains a formal demand letter from my attorney requesting return of the excess rent I paid, approximately $85,000 over 3 years. You have 60 days to respond with a payment plan. If you refuse, we'll pursue civil litigation. But honestly, I don't expect the money back. I'm writing this not for legal reasons, but because you need to know what you did to your daughter. You need to understand that you destroyed our relationship for $2,800 monthly. That's what I was worth to you. Don't contact me. I've changed my number. If you need to reach me, go through my attorney. I spent that first night at Megan's apartment, my phone powered off, staring at the ceiling. Around 6 p.m. when they'd normally arrive home, I imagined them walking into the house, finding my key, reading the letter. You need to eat, Megan said, appearing in the doorway with takeout. I destroyed my family. No, baby. They did that themselves. She sat on the bed. They just counted on you being too grateful or too guilty to notice. My phone, when I finally turned it on the next morning, had 47 missed calls, 17 voicemails, 32 text messages. I listened to the first voicemail on speaker. Leon, this is ridiculous. Mom's voice, shaking with anger. You left this dramatic letter full of accusations like we're criminals. We gave you a home. We gave you family. And this is how you repay us. With lawyers and threats? Call me back immediately. The second, Dad, colder. I don't know what's gotten into you, but this stunt with the attorney is unacceptable. You owe us an apology and this month's rent. Since you took your things, I'm assuming you're planning some childish running away gesture. Grow up and come home. The texts were worse. Jade, you always were jealous. Can't believe you'd hurt Mom and Dad like this over money. So typical. Mom, I'm having chest pains from the stress you've caused. Something happens to me, it's on your conscience. Dad, you've made your mother sick. Hope you're happy. We did everything for you. I blocked all their numbers and cried for 3 hours. They're trying to manipulate you, Patricia explained during our call that afternoon. It's textbook. Make you feel guilty so you'll come back. Don't engage. But what if my mom really is? She's fine. It's a manipulation tactic. Stay strong. A week later, my cousin Jordan called from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer. Leanne? Please don't hang up. I paused. Jordan was 10 years older, Jade's age, but we'd always been distant. Different circles. What do you want, Jordan? To apologize. Her voice cracked. And to tell you that you weren't the first. The air left my lungs. What? Me. 8 years ago. I lived with Uncle Thomas and Aunt Patricia, your parents, for 2 years after my divorce. They charged me $2,500 monthly for helping with household expenses. I found out later they were paying $900 in mortgage payments back then. When I confronted them, they turned the whole family against me. Said I was ungrateful. That I'd been a financial burden. I sat down hard. I never knew you lived with them. Because they buried it. Made me the villain. I stopped coming to family events because everyone believed their version. Your mom told people I'd stolen from them, Leanne. For years I was the family disgrace. Why didn't you warn me? I tried. 3 years ago when I heard you were moving in, I called you. Remember? I said something felt off about their generous offer? You said you had to help family. I did remember. Awkward phone call I dismissed as Jordan being bitter. I'm sorry, I whispered. Don't be. You believed the best in them. That's not a character flaw. She paused. The family is splitting right now. Your Uncle James asked for copies of your documents. He's an accountant. He's going through everything. They're going to hate me even more. Some will. But some of us are waking up to who your parents really are. My mom, your Aunt Carol, she's horrified. She's been calling Aunt Patricia demanding explanations. For the first time in a week, something like hope flickered. I just wanted them to see what they did. They see it, Leanne. They're just too proud to admit it. 2 weeks after I left, Uncle James sent me an email with a detailed spreadsheet. He'd calculated my parents' actual housing costs versus what they'd charged me, compared it to fair market rates, and analyzed their financial situation using the documents I'd provided. Leanne, I've reviewed everything. In my professional opinion, what your parents did constitutes financial exploitation. You overpaid approximately $87,000 over 3 years. They used your money to not only pay their mortgage but to subsidize a lifestyle they couldn't afford, including 2 luxury car leases, $1,200 per month combined. Country club membership, $450 per month. Monthly investments that were actually covering credit card minimums. I've spoken with your parents. They refused to acknowledge any wrongdoing. Your mother insisted they were teaching you responsibility. Your father claims you were paying for premium accommodations and family access. I want you to know that not everyone in this family supports what they did. Your Aunt Carol and I have decided to significantly reduce contact with them until they make this right. Your cousin Jordan is preparing a statement about her own experience. You did the right thing. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Uncle James. I cried reading it. Not from sadness but from validation. Someone believed me. Someone saw through their performance to the calculated cruelty underneath. But the family WhatsApp group told a different story. Jade had posted a long message about loyalty and blood, and how I'd betrayed our parents over a misunderstanding about rent prices. Several aunts and uncles had responded with prayer hands and hearts. Then Aunt Carol posted a single message. I've seen the financial records. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was exploitation. We need to stop enabling this behavior. The group went silent for 6 hours. Then exploded. The family was splitting down the middle. Those who believed my parents' victim narrative and those who'd looked at the actual evidence. 6 weeks after I left, Tristan forwarded me a copy of the foreclosure notice that had been filed against my parents' property. They'd missed 2 mortgage payments, August and September. Without my $2,800 monthly, they couldn't cover their actual expenses. They've requested a hardship modification from the bank, Tristan explained. But their debt-to-income ratio is too high. The credit card debt is killing them. Without your money, they're underwater. I didn't want this, I said, but my voice lacked conviction. Yes, you did, he said gently. You wanted them to face consequences. This is what consequences look like. My mother called from yet another new number. This time I answered. Leanne. Her voice was small, broken. So different from the confident woman who'd told me I'd die renting forever. Please. We need your help. They're going to take the house. You mean the house I've been paying the mortgage on for 3 years? Don't do that. Don't be cruel. Cruel. The word tasted bitter. You charged me $2,800 monthly for a room while telling me I was too irresponsible to own property. You watched me give you over $100,000 while praising Jade's financial wisdom. You called me foolish while building your retirement on my back. And I'm being cruel? We were helping you save money compared to rent. The fair market rent for a room in your neighborhood is $800. You were charging me $2,000 over that. For 3 years. Silence. We're losing the house, she whispered finally. Then I guess you'll die renting forever, I said and hung up. The words felt like acid and honey mixed together. Burning going down but sweet once swallowed. I'd spent 3 years being told I was the financial failure. Now they were facing foreclosure while I had $12,000 in savings and a new apartment I could actually afford. Poetic justice had never felt so much like grief. 3 months after I left, I signed a lease on a 1-bedroom apartment. Rent, $1,400 monthly. Twice what I should have been paying my parents for a room. Half what I'd actually paid them. My parents lost their house in foreclosure that November. They moved into a rental condo. Ironic doesn't begin to cover it. Jade stopped talking to me entirely, blaming me for ruining the family. Several aunts and uncles took sides. But here's what they don't tell you about setting boundaries. Some relationships don't survive them. Some people only love you when you're useful. Some family members can't see you as anything but a resource to extract value from. I'd spent $100,800 trying to buy my parents' love and approval. I'd learned the hardest way possible that neither was for sale, because they'd never had them to give me in the first place. Aunt Carol and Uncle James started a group text with Jordan and me. The orphaned cousins, Carol called us. Survivors of financial abuse. We met monthly for dinner. Jordan and I became close. She understood in ways no one else could. The day I moved into my apartment, Megan brought champagne. To freedom, she toasted. To expensive lessons, I countered. To knowing your worth, Jordan added. We drank to all of it. The loss, the liberation, the betrayal, the truth. My parents sent one final message through Uncle James. They wanted to reconcile, but I needed to apologize for making false accusations and causing them financial hardship. I never responded. Sometimes I drive past their old house. Someone else lives there now. A young family with children who play in the yard. I wonder if they know what happened there. If walls hold memories of financial exploitation alongside holiday dinners. I'll never get my money back. I'll never get an apology. I'll never hear them admit what they did was wrong. But I got something else. I got free. I learned that family isn't about blood. It's about respect, honesty, and love that doesn't come with a price tag. I learned that setting boundaries might cost you relationships. But the relationships that survive are the ones worth keeping. And every month when I pay my $1,400 rent, I smile. Because it's mine. Just mine. No manipulation. No exploitation. No one telling me I'll die renting forever while stealing my future. They taught me about financial responsibility after all. Just not the way they intended. If you've experienced financial exploitation by family members, please share this story. You're not alone and you're not wrong to protect yourself. Sometimes the hardest boundaries to set are the most necessary. Hit that like button if this resonated with you and subscribe for more real stories about finding strength when family fails you.